I think there's a significant change in firstly in the sensitization and also education to people concerning sickle cell. I feel like in those days, most of our parents, or let me say couples in general, do go into marriages and affairs really, I would like to say blindly, without knowing the in and outs of it. If you compare their own generation to this generation, you see that there is more enlightenment about um, who you should go for in cases of genotype. Do you understand? Because I think most people fell victim, not consciously, you understand, but it was something that there was no sensitization about. But now with the use of tests and all, people can know their genotypes before getting married or deciding to have kids. You understand? So I think basically now, I think it has drastically reduced. The thing is that I think it depends on individual, or I think it depends on those individual in question as a couple. Because in this generation, I will say I don't see any reason uh, why you shouldn't marry a compatible partner with the information, and also you actually see people suffer from this disease. Okay, so I don't see the reason why you should go and then marry a partner that you are not compatible with. Okay, so I think those people might have their reasons. Most of them will say it's love. Some of them will say, well, according to my experience, I have people who tell me, no, they love this person, they can't do without this person. Some of them will tell you that there's nothing God cannot do. Do you understand? Well, I think basically that's some of the factors that actually make people. And then, despite the fact that there are information out there, but the thing is that information hasn't really gotten to some people yet, as at this point, or people don't really understand some of the basis of the disease process. And I think that's why we still have some disease. I won't say love is enough. Personally, from experience, I will tell you that I have seen a toll that this disease process have gotten on couples and their families also. Do you understand? I Instead of love is enough, I would like to say a happy home is enough. Do you understand? Because this disease process not only relates and causes discomfort to your offspring or your child, but it also has a heavy toll on your finances. Uh, it's usually a case of emergency. Do you understand? You don't know when the crisis can occur and all, and it has a heavy toll on your finances as well. So I don't think love is just enough for you to disregard the disease process and all. So I don't think one can prepare for success in the real sense of it. Although having enough cash might help you get ahead of it. Do you understand? Not really with time, but uh, with hospitalizations and bills and everything, I think cash can do you a bit of good. Okay, but why allow your offspring to go through this hole in life? Do you understand? With constant pain and all. Do you understand? So I don't think there is any way you can cut across it, because there are times when if that crisis starts, it's between life and death. So are you trying to risk that? Do you understand? It's life and death. So I don't think anybody can prepare for that. There's no one that can prepare for life, and you can't equally prepare for death as well. So um, you getting married to someone and deciding not to have kids, uh, I think that can work, but I don't think. I feel that at some point you guys might want to have kids of your own. Do you understand? Because even if you go to adopt through adoption or some other kids and all, I think there will be that point in time where you people will actually feel that kind of void of trying to have kids of your own. And then the thing here is that deciding not to have kids, yeah, it can work. It can work. Yeah. Now, if you decide to have kids, then if you decide not to have kids, rather, then I think we don't have to talk about sickle cell anymore. Because if you don't have kids, then there won't be any kids of a child coming down with the nutrition or the disease. You understand? So I think that will hold. But it has to do with the whole work between you and your partner. Can you stay for that long without having a child of your own? Do you understand? The marriage or having to raise kids is to me, it's a it's a lifetime commitment and all. So will you deciding not to have kids? Will you commit to that for a lifetime? You understand? I think that's the question that people should ask themselves when they are trying to make these decisions such as that. There are cases of people who do actually sometimes in rare occasions some people might get lucky in rare occasions you get but I don't think people should bank on saying that okay chances will be that they will have kids that are not sickle cell patients. You understand? So I don't think that is the case here. The thing is that it cannot be 100% effective, and even if it is, I think just a handful of people can have access to that. As you already mentioned, the cost implication of that also. But I don't think it is 100% active for someone to say, okay, I will bank on that, I'm going for that. I think people should consider the fact that these people didn't actually make the choice for them to be sickle cell patients. Okay, I think the society should put into consideration that. And then one thing is that you should show more love to people living with sickle cell disease and also encourage them. You understand? Because I have had clients or patients who most times are depressed. Do you understand? Most times they are depressed because you find them going in and out of hospitals and emergency situations. And sometimes when we from personal interactions with most of them, you find out like them trying to blame is it let me say is it God or anything they believe it's like am I the only one? Why is this happening to me? Do you understand? So I don't think it was their choice, as it was not anybody's choice to be either AA or ES or SS. You get so I think they need more love and encouragement from the society. That would play a very big role. And then I think it also boils down to their relatives and family members. Okay, and then also them. Okay, sickle cell patients taking care of themselves and knowing the disease process. Okay, and knowing how to handle it will also play an important role so that they don't come down with some of these crises more often. You understand? So I think it's best if people with sickle cell do understand and study the disease process very well, okay, and see possible ways to prevent crisis. I think that's. Uh, it's quite funny that in the society we live in, most of the times, someone who is not educated, most times people who are not educated about the disease will come up with assumptions to that. People will tell you they're evil spirits and all, like you actually said. So I think sensitization of people about the disease will go a long way. To tell them that that is normal, normal in the fact that people who live with sickle cell disease are normal people. You get so I think it all boils down to uh, like educating the general public about the disease and how it came to be. You understand? And then talking about the age limit, taking about the age limit. Um, I won't say yes. People who have sickle cell disease have a short lifespan because I have come across patients who have lived. Do you understand? Who have lived um, with sickle cell disease for a long period of time. Okay, some of them even to their old age. I personally have a friend who have spent up to 2 3 years without even knowing that that friend of mine is a sickle cell patient. You get, and I think that boils down also to the fact to how that person manages himself and is very conscious of his health. Do you understand? So I think if we encourage them to live normal lives, okay, and we educate both the public and also give education to people living with sickle cell disease, I think it will go a long way in helping in boycotting some of the issues. Um, I won't say that there is nothing the government or civil society organizations are doing anything. I think the government is doing its best. Health workers are doing their best to make sure that the incidence of people coming down with sickle cell disease is low. But as I said earlier on, it totally depends on the two people involved. Okay, that the man and the woman deciding to come together to have kids. I think it boils down to them. Okay, there's one thing that you can't take from an individual, and which is free will. Okay, that is one thing you can't take. No matter how you decide to say, okay, we are going to bring out this law, even if you bring out laws that will prevent people who are not compatible to get married, I don't think that will be accepted. Do you understand? Because if there is one thing that even God gave to mind is what free will, and the only thing you can do is just to advise and educate them. And okay, see, these are the complications of what you're about to do. It's just like a risk taking. They're just trying to tell somebody, do this, don't do this. You understand? And it's not left for the person to see the reason in what you are telling him not to do. So I don't think as a country we have failed in sensitization, although we've not really, not everyone has actually gotten the information. But I think majority of the country's population have actually got the information, and I think there are so many organizations who are doing their best to put the word out there. So I think we are still trying. Okay, we as a country we are trying. So that's it. It boils down to the two people. Their free will. It really matters.